So I'm at my table of contents. I am going to write products of 10. Now I'm on page 34. If your numbers are a little off, no worries. Just fill in your table of contents So I want us to look at an example so we can see how the numbers are related and how they grow. So let's say that we have 1 in the ones place. And let's say that I want to multiply by 10. So I'm going to write times 10, and I'm going to draw an arrow. So let's do 10 times 1 equals what? 10, right? Any number times 1 is the number itself. So it's no longer 1, now it's 10. Okay, so the only difference that I see is that there's a 0 that's been added. So let's look again. Why don't we do times 10 again? So times 10. So we're going to do 10 times 10 times 1 equals what? Well, 10 times 1 is 10. 10 times 10 is, well, I have 2 zeros here, so I know it's going to be 100, right? Because when you multiply by a tens number, you just count the zeros, right? So I have 100. So now this changes to 100. So I'm seeing that another 0 is being added as it's moving up. So let's multiply by 10 again. So now I have 10 times 10 times 10 times 1. So I know 2 10s times a 1 gives me 100. Okay, so I'm going to add another 0 in. So it's not going to be 100, it's going to be what? 1,000. So I just want us to look at what's happening. So as I multiplied by the power of 10, or the product of 10, my product has shifted. And what has changed with my products? If you look, the only difference is that there's a 0 being added. And it's increasing in value, right? I started at 1, then I moved to 10, then I moved to 100, then I moved to 1,000. So when I look at this, I can see that each place value, right, these are all place values, are 10 times more than the place value next to it. Okay, so we have a 1, then we have a 10, then we have 100, then we have 1,000. So it's all 10 times greater, right? 10 is 10 times greater than 1. 100 is 10 times greater than 10. 1,000 is 10 times greater than 100. So as you move to the left, up the place value, so when you move left, it becomes 10 times more, right? Because what's 10 times 1,000? Well, nothing's changed here. I've just added, right? Nothing's changed from down here. All I've done is added some zeros. So all I need to do is count my zeros, right? 1 times 1 is 1. Add some zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to sneak them down here. So now I have 10,000. So as you can see, each place value as it moves to the left is 10 times more, so right? Here I've glued in my notes. I've left some space for some steps for today, and I'm going to write my objective at the top. So I'm going to write, today I will multiply by products of 10. So before we do our steps, I want us to look at this problem. This is just kind of like a starter problem for us. This is going to be the math we're going to be doing, but this is going to kind of lead us there. So our steps are going to be for these kind of problems, but let's just look at number 1 really quick. So this is kind of what I talked about with our place value, okay? So I just kind of want us to see how this problem kind of relates to our place value problem. So have this off to the side. So it says, starting with 16, which they gave to us, right? Starting with 16, multiply by 10 until you get to a number in the 10,000s place. So this is a place value chart, right? It's the same exact one as our green one. I have my ones, tens, hundreds, 1,000s, 10,000s, 100,000s. I'm going to circle my 10,000s because they want us to fill it up all the way until we get to the 10,000s. Right now we're at 16. Okay. They want us to start with 16 times 10. So let's look at how that's going to change. Well, I know 16 times 1 is the number itself, right? But I always have to add that 0. So I no longer have 16. Now I have 160, right? Because it's 10 times more. So I just multiplied by 10. And that gave me 160. But am I done yet? No, I got to make it all the way to my 10,000s place. So I'm going to take my number. Now I have 160 times 10. So now I have 2 zeros. So I have a 0 here and a 0 here. Then I have my 16. So now I have 1,600. But I'm still not there, right? I'm still only in my 1,000s place. So what do I have to do? I have to multiply by 10 one more time. So I'm going to take my 1,600, multiply by 10 again. 1, 2, 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3 zeros, and 16. So I want us to just kind of look at how the number is growing. So as I multiplied by 10, by 10, by 10, my place value increased, right? And all I did was just add zeros. So the only thing that's changing is in order to increase my place value, I had to multiply by 10, by 10, by 10, until I got to my 10,000s place. So my original number was 16, and it hasn't changed. It's still here, right? The only thing I've done is added zeros, and that has changed my product, okay? So when you multiply by 10, and it wants to say 10 times more, remember we moved to the left, we're adding people. The more left you go, the greater value. So let's take a look. I'm going to write my steps up here, because remember our steps are for these problems. This is just kind of to see, it's kind of what we did earlier. It's really just to see how when you multiply by 10, your place value increases. Okay, so let's look. I'm going to write steps here. So when we get to a problem like this, this is what we need to do. Number 1, we need to underline the identified digit. Okay? Step 2, find the place value that is 10 times greater or 10 times less. So remember, if it's asking for a 10 times greater, you're moving your place value to the left, right? Because you're adding place value. It gets heavier and heavier and heavier the further you go on your place value, right? 16 people is way less than 16,000 people, right? Now, if it wants you to move 10 times less, 16,000 is way greater than 16. But if they wanted to move 10 times, let's say they want 10 times less people, you would have 1,600 as 10 times less. So you're moving down. When you want to decrease, you move to the right, okay? Okay, and then step 3 is just to write / choose number. Okay, let's take a look. Number 2, choose the number that has the digit 2. Has the digit 2, right? I'm just underlining things that I think are going to be important. So choose a number that has the digit 2 with a value that is 10 times more. Is more the same as greater? Yeah, right? Greater, more, same thing. So I'm going to underline 10 times more, okay? And I'm going to draw my arrow to the left because I know that when it's 10 times greater or more, I got to move my place value this way, okay? More than the value of the digit 2 in this number. Okay. So let's break it down. I've underlined some digits that I need, and I've underlined which way I need to move. First, I need to figure out where is the 2 in this number. Where is the 2 digit in this number? Do you see it? Okay, I see it right here. What place value is this? What place value is that in? I have my ones, tens, hundreds, 1,000, 10,000s. Okay, so singing my song helps me figure out that that digit is in the 1,000s place. Okay, choose a number that has a digit 2. So I'm looking for a 2 that is 10 times more than the value. So I have 10,000. Let's look at our place value chart. I'm here. Here's my 2. I need to move 10 times more. So I'm looking for a 2 that's in the 100,000s place, because that would be times 10 would give me 100,000. So I need to move to the left. So let's look here. A, 258,341. I said 200,000, right? 200,000. So if I look at this and I circled this, I have 200,000, right? Well, let's look at the other ones just in case. You never know, they might try to trick you.
B, 528,000. Oop, that's not going to work, right? That's in the same place value. Nothing has changed there. C, 512,000. Oop, that's only in the, 1,000s place. That too is not going to work. D, 534,278. Ooh, 278. Well, that kind of sounds the same, but is it? No, right? Because 278 is in the ones period. 200,000 is in the thousands period, right? This is only like, that's the only place value that 2 is in. So that can't be right either. So I've got to go with A. Because if you look, if you multiplied by 10, that would bring that 2 over
to the 100,000s place. Okay? Let's look at number 3. Kenny wrote this number, 423,769. Write a number that has the digit 6 with a value that is 10 times less. 10 times less. Ooh, so we're losing people, right? 10 times more, you gain more friends. 10 times less, you're losing some friends. So you got to go to the right. Right? Because the lesser the friends is this way, the greater the friends is this way. Write a number that has the digit 6 with the value that is 10 times less than in Kenny's number. Okay? This is Kenny's number. We need to find the 6. I'm looking for a 6, looking for a... Got it. Now I got to figure out the place value. I got my 1s, 10s. Oop, that song went fast. So I have my 10s place. So it's really like a 60, right? 69. So I need to move 10 times less. So if I move 10 times more, it would be 423,600, right? But I don't need to go more. I need to go less. So let's take a look. Okay, so I need to think of a number where the 6 is not in the tens place, right? My 6 needs to be in the ones place because it's 10 times less. And the only thing left than tens is my ones place. So I need to write a number, and it doesn't really matter what number I write. My 6 just has to be in my ones place, right? So I could write 423,796. And that would work because my 6 is in the ones place. I could write 32,756. And that would be right too because my 6 is in the ones place. I could... Okay, here are the problems I want you to work on tonight.